Welcome to the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasons while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian. So, no old fashioned, a little early for that. So, we're talking about some big news in Texas. In July of 2023, Brother Robert Wise was murdered outside of his Masonic Lodge. And fast forward, I'm going to read you excerpts from the press release from a lawsuit that has been filed. So bear with me. First of all, Brother Robert Wise, we appreciate your service to Masonry, and we hate that we're even discussing your name in this lawsuit. So let me read the press release and then kind of go through the case real briefly so we don't bore you too much. Now, if you want to have, we've got a copy of the press release, also the case, including all the exhibits. We can get you the link as well. It's all public information. So here's from the press release that was released on November 29th. So I'm just going to read some excerpts from it. On July 10th, 2023, Brother Robert Wise was murdered as he left McAllen Masonic Lodge number 1110 in McAllen, Texas. Now, the person that murdered him, I'm not going to give this guy any cred by mentioning his name. I'm just going to call him the thug. So if you guys want to know the guy's name, go look it up. I'm not going to glorify this chump for doing that. So the thug, a known anti-Mason who had a history of vandalizing both the McAllen and Westlaco lodges, approached Wise as he prepared to leave following an induction ceremony. In the unlit parking lot with open access to the public, the thug gunned Wise down, videotaping the act, and then had sufficient time to post his deed on Instagram. So this is something I didn't know. So this thug killed a brother of ours and then posted it on Instagram due to some anti-Masonic sentiment. What a chump. So just reading around. So this is kind of leading up to why there's a lawsuit. So for years, so the press release says, for years on both the national and local levels, Freemasonry has been under attack by its detractors. Masons have been subject to verbal threats, internet stalking, arson, vandalism, and physical intimidation. The release goes on to say, Masonic leadership at the national, state, and local levels have been aware of the situation and warned its members of the potential for violence. This has been particularly true as both Grand Masters of Texas State Lodge and Worcester Masters of McAllen Lodge had full knowledge of the situation in McAllen. So this is kind of the lead up. McAllen Lodge had been the subject of an arson and repeated vandalism since December of 2021, the press release says. The thug openly commented about his contempt against Freemasonry on the internet. The press release goes on to say the leadership of both state and local levels did nothing. Security equipment was purchased but never installed. Dark parking lots with easy access to the public remained unchanged. No effort was made to warn the Mason community, as had been done in other lodges across the nation. On July 12th, 2023, after the murder of Brother Wise, did Grand Master G. Clay Smith close McAllen Lodge, but soon reopened it for regular activities on October 17th, after security equipment was installed. And the last couple of sentences, basically, the lawsuit alleges negligence and gross negligence. Anybody that's been in the legal world, they understand the difference, and seeks to hold the Freemason organization at the state and local level accountable for Robert Wise's death. As the lawsuit progresses, the plaintiff will tear away the veil of secrecy that allowed Freemasons to ignore the obvious while keeping their decision-making process out of the public eye. The last sentence is the strongest. Their failure to act has legal consequence for which they will be made to answer. So that's the press release that was released on November 29th. So push all that to the side. So I'm going to highlight a few things here. First of all, the plaintiff, Josefina Sanchez, which is the spouse of brother Robert Wise, Carmen Wise, the daughter, Devin Wise, the son, and Dylan Wise, the son. Those are all the plaintiffs. Here are the defendants. This is kind of interesting. The defendants as follow. The Grand Lodge of Texas, McAllen Lodge, number 110. G. Clay Smith individually. He's the current Grand Master. Past Grand Master, Brad Billings, named individually. Juan Eduardo Garza, past Master of McAllen Lodge, named individually. Manuel Dominguez, he's named individually also as the past Master of McAllen Lodge, number 1110. The plaintiffs are seeking monetary relief of more than $1 million plus attorney's fees. So that's pretty interesting. So I'm just going to go through some excerpts from this. Here's some things that they're citing in the, I guess you'd call it the petition. Again, I'm not an attorney because I like to make money. This is from the plaintiff's original petition. So it cites Christopher Hoddip, a published Freemason writer, public relations and marketing director for the Grand Lodge of Indiana. Talks about his blogging, and that he has been citing since 2021 the alarming increase throughout U.S. and Canada of incidents of vandalism, arsons, and violence from the anti-Masonic extremists, which is kind of interesting to know. Here's one of the big things in here. So when you talk negligence and gross negligence, you'd have to do something pretty crazy for it to be gross, but this is where they're going to try to hang on at least negligence. So here's what they're saying on page 4 of this brief. McAllen Lodge purchased a light and camera system in early 2022 for approximately $2,000. However, the light and camera system was not installed until months after the murder of Brother Wise. On March 30th, 2022, the McAllen Lodge was vandalized with graffiti that read, "Sorcery against the Holy Spirit and the human race must all be stoned to death." The brief says, soon thereafter, Alondro Galvin, a member of the lodge and junior warden, started sending text messages to install lights and cameras to the other officers of McAllen Lodges, including Garza and Dominguez, who are named in the suit. But nothing was done. 5 months later, on September 15th, 2022, the criminals struck again. The McAllen Lodge was vandalized, the front glass door was smashed, and fuel thrown into the building to start a fire. So there's 2 incidents. Finally, the brief says, finally somebody in the hierarchy spoke out. Gregory Pequeño, a past worshipful master of McAllen Lodge and district communicator for the Grand Lodge of Texas, sent out an email to everyone in District 40A. Basically, it says the fraternity's been under attack. It's not the first time. Remain vigilant at the meetings and take necessary precautions to secure your lodge building. Okay, that email is going to be a problem for somebody. So you go on to the next page, and it talks about the different attacks that have happened around the United States and Canada. For example, November 6, 2020, the Oak Island Masonic Lodge in Canada was damaged by an arson attack. 2 months later, on January 7th of 2023, Fayette Lodge in Ellington, Connecticut was damaged by an arson attack. A month later, February 21st, violence struck again close to home. An identical arson attack happened at the Llano Grande Masonic Lodge in West Laco, Texas. So the brief says this act should have prompted action. So another thing they're citing, this is going to be interesting. When you go to page 6, this is where they're tagging Billings in. And so I'm going to read from this. Listen, I don't have a dog in the hunt. I'm just reading from this. I think it's interesting. When you treat these like businesses, if I was a business owner, there's some problems in here. So this is what this says on page 6. In 2022, Brad Billings knew about a $6,500 expense for a beach boondoggle during his Grand Master Conference that provided food and alcohol and lodging at the beach. It begs the question that if McAllen Lodge could expend funds on entertainment, why did they not spend money on security at the time when the people in authority knew there was a problem? Furthermore, how difficult would it have been to simply alert the Masons that a particular violent person was preying on them like a wolf in fold? The thug was actually vandalized both McAllen and West Laco Lodge, and he threatened to do it again. So that brought Billings in the mix. They're saying that G. Clay Smith, the current Grand Master, could have done more. You can always do more. I can cite a bunch of stuff. So I'm looking through exhibits, which is really interesting, and this is on this. One of the photos of a lodge there in Texas, which they were writing about the CIA. Here's some stuff on the door of a lodge that talks about the Holy Spirit and everyone must be stoned, and that was at McAllen Lodge. You can go into more exhibits of where I'm looking at photos of the lodge burned, where they threw some sort of fuel inside. I'm not showing any photos of the terrible incidents where a thug shot down a brother of ours. That's just a little too much, in my opinion. So let's just kind of go back here. Just put your business hat on. Take your I'm a master mason. I can't believe somebody's suing the Grand Lodge of Texas. Oh my gosh, what's going on? First of all, this is a widow of a fallen brother. So choose your words wisely, guys. Where she's lost somebody she loves, and the kids have lost a father, and we've lost a brother as well. But I think their cut's a little bit deeper, right? So their case is hinging on this. Masons knew about this thug doing all this stuff. Forget the national stuff, but they knew around what was going on in the area. Then the lodge allegedly bought additional lighting and cameras, but failed to do anything until after he was killed. Some sort of negligence is going to happen here, if not gross negligence. I think gross is going to be hard to prove, but you attorneys on here, tell me one of the many reasons why I'm an idiot, and but stick it to this for now. So I think it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of questions asked of, hey, you got the equipment and the lighting. Now, would that have stopped it? Maybe not. But that doesn't mean that you don't try to, Walmart doesn't put cameras in that it's going to stop all of it. It's kind of as a deterrent. And would more lighting have helped? Maybe. I don't know about the cameras. I don't think you could ever have enough lighting. So I'm just going to throw this out to everyone. Forget about the case here for now. The anti-Masonic sentiment, it seems to be at an all-time high. It may start to pick up more with the Catholic ban. We've got a lot of Catholics in our ranks, and I don't think we're worried about getting attacked from the inside. But I think everyone should take a good survey of their lodge. Most of us meet in the evenings. We come out, and this time of year it's dark. Lighting should be a key component anyway. To me, personally, I don't think anybody should be walking out of lodge by themselves. I know there's an argument out there. If the brothers were able to carry knives or guns in the lodges, maybe that would would have deterred it? I don't know, and I'm not going to even go there. Everyone's got landmarks and everyone's got rules and stuff for their jurisdiction. And if you don't like it, guys, put up a bylaw proposal, and just, bylaw proposals also, as long as you don't violate some sort of a landmark. But I don't think anybody should be walking out alone. But look at the security of your buildings. I think if one thing we've learned, unfortunately, from losing a brother, is there's some things we need to talk about. There's always more safety in numbers. Cameras for sure. I mean, cameras are cheap now. I mean, I'm not pimping any brand, but in my house, there's probably 14 or 15 cameras at my house. So not counting other stuff that are going on. Again, cameras are cheap. Lighting at the end of the day is cheap. I'll guarantee you there's an electrician in every lodge that would be happy to somehow work something out with the brothers, to get some stuff installed. But at the end of the day, if you want to see the full packet, this is a real deal. I can get you the information. So just put let me know in the comments what you want, and I'll get something over to you. But it's an unfortunate deal, but we're not going to name the thug that murdered a brother of ours. So hopefully this all irons out. Grand Lodges have lots of insurance for this type of stuff. And I think in Texas, correct me where I'm wrong, I think the Grand Lodges, do they own the buildings there? They don't do it they don't own the buildings where we're from. So, but let us know. Keep Brother Wise and his family in your thoughts and prayers, and be careful on your comments, because again, this is a widow. Whether you think that the attorneys are ambulance chasers or not, at the end of the day, they're using the legal system, and it's going to be heard in court. But keep that in mind on anything that you'll have coming up with bylaw changes, if you want to see something that's done different. Thank you. What did you think of this episode? To continue to promote Freemasonry, hit that like button now. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and give us a comment. The Old-Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where real Masons talk Freemasonry. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a comment.